What's up, guys? This is Miasin. So last Saturday, I went to this really cool 3v3 team tournament hosted by my beautiful local Scar Brawlers. Go check them out, by the way. And basically, it was a really unique event because we had, of course, 3 players per team. One of them was playing GOAT format against another GOAT format player. And then the other one was Edison against Edison. And the third one was Modern versus Modern. And I was the Modern player, so I played tier elements. And our team did really well. We were able to score 2nd place at the event. So we were undefeated after Swiss, and we only lost in the finals. My individual score was 6-0, so I actually went undefeated with tier elements, and I actually had a blast. I loved this event so much, and I was rewarded with 4 boxes of Age of Overlord. And if I tell you my polls, you might not even believe me, but I have them on me, so brace yourselves, okay? Again, I had 4 boxes. Look at this. My first box, I already managed to get SP Little Knight. I don't know if you can see it right here, and I had some more good pulls. So I had whatever you can see here, Typhon, TG limiter removal, whatever. So definitely a very good first box. And then my second box might have been even better because I pulled this card right here. Oh my god, Jesus, camera focus. Magicians of Bond and Unity. And then I got the Duamutev Blessing of Horus with whatever this is, TG Rocket Salamander, another Typhon, Vanquish Soul Jialong. The ultra rares are relevant, but whatever. The secrets are really nasty. And then my third box, okay, brace yourselves again. I pulled this right here, so SP Little Knight again. A third one, Jesus, oh my god. Okay, with Diabel Star, the Black Witch, and then some other whatever cards. And finally, my fourth and final box. I was able to probably get the best pulls from a single box I've ever witnessed in my entire existence. So look at this, alright? I got quarter century rares Visa Samsara. It looks insane. And then I got another SP Little Knight again, Imseti. I've got 3 SP Little Knights in my 4 boxes, which is wild. And of course, the camera can't focus. You know what? I'm not even gonna bother, but whatever, you get the point. So yeah, 3 SPs, then 1 Imseti, 1 Diabel Star, 2 Typhons, and then 2 quarter century rares. So these 2 boys right here, Magicians of Bond and the Visa Samsara. It's actually cracked. Yeah, I have never gotten this lucky in my entire life. It's insane. But yeah, I will be showing you guys my deck profile right now. But before this video starts, you already know the drill. Friendly reminder to smash the like and subscribe button. And now let's get right into it. Alrighty, so for my tier elements deck profile, this time I did not play with the King of the Swamp cards. I could have, but I just wanted to test the Destiny Hero version instead. And it was definitely fine, but in a world where people start playing Nibiru again, King of the Swamp into Lulu Carols is definitely a must, so I don't know, the Infinite Impermanence was my non-engine card that I decided to play. Some people at YCS Indianapolis, their flex spot was on Nibiru, which I find to be interesting because when I playtest personally, I just find, well, I mean, I don't playtest, but the very few times where I do, I just figure out that Nibiru is just a bad card because it's good against some players, but it's not really good against certain decks. I mean, some decks just inherently play into Nib, but sometimes they just don't, so I just don't like this card at all. I really don't think it's too great. I mean, Nibiru, Infinite Impermanence was okay for me. It wasn't great. I think playing Drool and Logbird might have been a little better, actually. It's funny because I kept talking shit on Drool because it became bad since Unchained became good. And in a world where everybody plays Unchained, Drool is not a card that you're trying to draw because they don't search from the deck at all. They just special summon from the deck. But now we're seeing a lot of decks that just start searching more and more. Even the Rescue Ace deck, sometimes it just randomly loses to Drool for no reason. It shouldn't, but they're not always gonna hard open the Turbulence or like Emergency to summon it and then set 4 under Drool. Sometimes they have to do a lot of searching to get to that. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna replace Infinite Impermanence with Drool in the future, but definitely not Nibiru. I just don't think Nibiru is a good card. Now for the engine cards, I think it's pretty much the same as everybody, so 3 tier cash, and then the you know, the standard version, well, standard amount of tier elements monsters. Reno Heart, people go in between go back and forth between 2 and 3 Rhino Hearts. I think 2 is a little just more reliable if you want to play 2 Diviner. If you play 3 Rhino Heart, then you have to play 1 Diviner, otherwise it's way too many normal summons. And with 3 Rhino Hearts, you also have to commit to 3 Scream, and I used to play that at YCS Cancun, and I was bricking so hard on Scream, because this is not like the old school tier elements deck where you always have a lot of tier names and it's so easy to mill 3. You just have only 1 of the Sharon, only 1 of the Merly, only 1 of the Havanus, so trust me, sometimes just getting to summon tier elements monsters is low-key really hard, so Scream at 3 is too much. And I want to say 2 Scream has been just like the best ratio for me. It's just been working really, really well, and I really recommend people to test with 2 Screams. It's obviously better than 1 because you have the flexibility of activating 1 and then still milling 1 instead of having to like destroy your 1 Scream with the Kaleido Heart, with the Field Spell. Instead of that, you can go Field Spell, destroy the Kaleido Heart, and then send the second Scream. That's really nice because then you end on a Scream and you search a trap card, and you still have the Heartbeats to recycle back one of your traps. Some people are main decking Meta Noise, which you can definitely do, but in a format where there's no Kashtira, I just feel like Meta Noise is not good enough. Like, a lot of decks can still play through the Meta Noise, and it can still get ashed, which I don't like at all. If it's like your 1 back row and it gets ashed, it's just so bad. So yeah, I'm not a big fan. And then for the dangers, I'm on 3 Nessie, 1 Mothman. You could mess around with 2 Nessie only and 1 Mothman, or maybe 2 Mothman. It's up to you, but the dangers for me were fantastic. They just give you more gas. You could also play the Mecha Phantom Beats Draco Sack package. If you want to commit to King of the Swamp, it's really nice. It's just a 1-card, kind of a 1-card combo in a way. If you play Fenrir, but then Fenrir clashes with the Bestial, so I had to choose between one of the two. And in this build, since I am playing the Destiny Heroes, the Bestials are nice because they give me access to Beatrice a little easier. So if I mill like Malicious and I don't have like a tier name, I can still summon a Bestial by banishing my own cards. So they're not just hand traps, they're also extenders. And then I make Beatrice and I keep playing from there. So it's really nice to be able to play Bestials to not only keep playing on my own turn, but also interrupt my opponent as he's playing. So I really like these cards. I don't know about 3 Druid Worm, maybe a little too much. I think maybe 1 Magnamut and 2 Druid Worm should be enough because drawing 2 Druid Worm is not what you're trying to do whatsoever. And this deck can't really... I mean, I already thought about playing Lubellion and like Saronir and the Regained. It's not like back in the days where that used to work, so yeah, forget about it. Anyways, for the Destiny Heroes, 2 Malicious, 1 Denier, I will not lie, I bricked on them a lot, especially Denier. Denier is like the true brick. Malicious is like less annoying, but still, when you draw Malicious, it's still pretty bad. And sometimes I also had to fuse from my hand for the Dangerous and had to discard a card that didn't have a Grave effect, so it felt really neggy, honestly, just to make a Beatrice. But Beatrice kind of compensates for every resource that you have to sacrifice to get to it because it gives you 2 shots. And that's what I really like about Beatrice. Like, you mill 5 on your turn, mill 5 on your opponent's turn, in case you get unlucky. So, you know, after 10 mills, regardless of how unlucky you are, you'll eventually get something. And that's the reason why Beatrice is just amazing. So, yeah, again, I recommend testing at least with the Destiny Heroes. You don't necessarily have to play them, but they're decent. And then the Shizu Monster is one of everything. It's actually funny because I'm so back and forth on Mudora and Keldo. I actually don't even think they're that good, the Shufflers. Agido and Kelbeck, obviously, you're always playing them, but the Shufflers, sometimes they're just so bad. They're, like, really, really bricky, especially Mudora. He's worse than Keldo, so, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, 2 Diviner of the Heralds. I actually don't like this card at all. It's funny, but I want to play only 1 copy of this card and maybe bump up Reino Heart to 3, but still play 2 Scream. So yeah, this card was just never really amazing for me, but it does give me access to Baron de Fleur a little easier, because then it becomes level 6, and then you can use any level 4 to make Baron, or you can Exceed into Malicious, but honestly, this never really came up for me. And this Trudeau is also a way to go into Baron, so you don't really have to rely on Diviner that much, and you have Cross Shape to revive it, so you can play only 1 copy, and you're reviving back anyways, so 1 should be enough. Again, the worst ways to lose in this deck is when you just draw a bunch of normal summons and a bunch of cards that just do nothing. Like when you have Diviner, Merly, and Reino Heart, this is where you just like, you want to uninstall everything. You just want to quit Yu-Gi-Oh! This is like the worst hands, and it happened to me a few times, unfortunately. Anyways, for the spells, I was on Terraforming, Foolish Burials, Heartbeats, Double Scream, 3 Field Spell. You could also mess around with Foolish Burial Goods. I played it at every single event before that. And it was always incredibly bad for me. I always despised Foolish Burial Goods because the logic behind it, I don't know, it's just a little flawed. It's like, it's good when your hands are bad, but then it's bad when your hands are good. And when your hands are really, really, really bad, 1 Foolish Goods doesn't fix anything because you're gonna get the Field Spell, and then the Field Spell is gonna be getting you like a Reino Heart, and then you mill the Tier Cash to send 2, and if you get nothing, you still lose. And then, obviously, like, if you have, like, an Ishizu Monster, then you can go for the Sharon instead, and then discard the Kelbeck or the Agido, and then you mill 8, which is insane, but, yeah, like, that's not gonna happen too often, but, I don't know, I didn't really like Foolish Goods, honestly. Like, for me, it was just really bad, and also, sometimes you just draw every card that you're trying to Foolish, that's the way I got knocked out of YCS Dortmund, by the way. I got like, my opening had like the Foolish Goods and the double Solik, and I sided out the Trivi Karma because I kept bricking on it. I drew it every single game before that, so I was like, I might draw it a third time this match, and third time this game, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna draw double Solik with the Foolish Goods, and it did happen. So yeah, I'm getting tired of Foolish Goods. I hate it. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, everything here has been explained. Double Solik makes sense, and then the Trivi Karma, unfortunately, I hate it. But if you draw it and you're playing Dangerous, you can discard it. So that's not too bad. And if you're playing the Horus cards, another way to discard the Trivi Karma is by going Imseti. So that's pretty cool. Even if you get ashed on the Imseti, it's not the end of the world, because you still have the Trivi Karma in the grave at the very least. So your hand literally, upgraded, and you no longer have to worry about Ash, which is not too bad. And again, Infinite Impermanence could and should be something else. So King of the Swamp if you want to, and then you can play Lulu Carols. There is a card in the extra deck you don't need to play here. I'm going to go into details very soon. And again, you can play whatever, just more gas or more different non-engine, like Droll and Logbird could also work. But yeah, now for the extra deck. So I was on 1 Kaleido Heart, 1 Dragos Tapelia, 1 Dangerous, 1 Garura, 1 Mudragon. These monsters all really good, so yeah, it's a nice configuration. 1 Baron, of course, very easy to summon. Beatrice, Bahamut Shark, Toad, Dweller, Redur. So this is pretty much an engine card. It allows you to play around Bestials, and then Dweller is Dweller, obviously. Beatrice is insane, and Bahamut Toad is really interesting because some people might actually only see them as like, oh, you just want to make more negates, but they actually allow you to keep pushing even more. So sometimes your hand is dog shit. You go like Reno Heart, send something, and then you make Mudragon, and then you got access to Bahamut Shark, you summon the Toad, and then you're like, okay, am I gonna pass turn here? No, you can actually, if your hand is really bad, you can link off the Toad and the Bahamut Shark for a sprint, and then the Toad will recycle back like a tier cash from the graveyard to the hand, and then you send the Merly, and then you got yourself Reno Heart, Merly, and Toad in your grave. So 2 Aquas, including Reno Heart as well as the Tier Elements monster, and then you can fuse into Kaleido Heart, and if you can still pop with the field spell, you destroy Kaleido Heart, you send the Scream, and you Surge the Solik. So with a pretty bad hand, you can still get Kaleido Heart, Sprint, Solik, and a Water Recycle like Tier Cash. So that's actually really nice, and I definitely recommend people to look into that. And yeah, there are some other plays that you can do, of course, with the Toad. But they include side deck cards that I don't really want to talk about necessarily. For example, Gamma Seal is a good one. If you mill Gamma Seal, you can recycle it back, and that would be a way to out, the Purely deck if they're holding their Expurely Noir for too long and you don't play Underworld Goddess. But this should never be an issue because they're always using their spins anyways. So yeah. Anyways, for the Link monsters, Espilo Knight, this card is one of the most disgusting cards I've ever touched in my entire life. And again, I have 3 of them now. It's actually cracked. Yeah, well, technically I have 4 because I'm borrowing the other one from my friend, but I own myself 3 copies of SP, which I hope I can sell really soon because I don't really need as many copies. But yeah, Sprint, Masquerina, and Cross Sheep. Masquerina sucks. I never actually summoned it. And Cross Sheep and Sprint are needed. Well, I mean, Cross Sheep is especially good at reviving back Diviner. And then, yeah, Sprint is a must for the Merly. Some people were not playing this card. I was like, what? Yeah, you could cut the Masquerina for like a Lulu Carols and then squeeze in like 2 King of the Swamps in your deck. Not even play Poly and Guardian Chimera. These cards are actually really bad. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck, and now for the side deck, 3 Ash, just for the bullshit decks, like, I don't know, the Chimera deck, or Branded, or anything that just randomly loses to Ash, because it's just, like, generic, and it's also good against Flunderies, so I just wanted to cover a lot of ground, but I don't know if I really like that. I should have, like, high impact cards in the side deck, so maybe Droll would have been better if I was not main decking the card. So yeah, Droll definitely should have been somewhere here, not necessarily in the main deck, but at least in the side deck, or in the main, just one of the two. And then, you know, obviously this, unfortunately, Change of Heart, just generic good going second, but it could have been anything else because it's an unsearchable one of, so you can literally just change it with anything else. And then 3 Xyz on Core for Purely, a great card, and also in the mirror match against Abyss Dweller, if your opponent doesn't summon Mudragon. This is how I was able to win in the mirror match, even though my opponent had Xyz on Core. My end board was Beatrice, Mudragon, and Abyss Dweller, and basically, he tried to go Xyz on Core on my Dweller, and I was like, nah, you can't, because, I mean, he didn't try, but like, he he was reading the Exceedon core just to make sure that it does target. I was playing around it by, you know, keeping the Mud Dragon on the field so that he couldn't target the Dweller. Anyways, 3 evenly this card is. It's good also against the player, not necessarily against the deck. Like against Rescuers, they can make like actual negates, so it's not always good, but sometimes it is. So yeah, I definitely don't dislike this card. This card, maybe the Change of Heart should probably be a Duster. I think Harvey's Feather Duster would be better. And even Triple Tactic Thrust with like a different configuration, like one less evenly, and like a Duster, Lightning Storm, and etc. could be decent, but maybe not Lightning Storm. Maybe Duster would be better, because if you draw off of like Garura, and like you already have a board, then, you know, I mean, it's really niche, and it will probably not come up, but I mean, it could. Anyways, 3, there can only be 1 for Flunderies and 1 crime for going first. It's searchable, so it definitely makes a lot of sense. Anyways, that's it for this deck profile, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about your elements in the comment section below. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.